Hi, it's Leslie Fightmaster, and we are on day 50. Now, this is the 8th week of our program, and so this week will be more of a recovery type of week, so it won't be quite as intense, so that we can kind of let our muscles rest a little bit, but we'll still be working. So let's begin with hands at the heart center to set an intention for our practice today. And this class will be just kind of an easy flow class. Well, easy-ish. So we'll draw the right knee into the chest and then extend the right leg up. Either hold on behind the thigh or down by the ankle, or maybe take the toe, or if you have a strap or a towel, you could always use that as well. Make sure your left leg stays active with the toes pointing up toward the ceiling. And take some nice long breaths to stretch out our hamstrings. Now, take your left hand onto your left thigh to make sure it stays down. And as you exhale, we'll open the right leg to the right side and turn to look over the left shoulder. So we'll get some opening in our hip, our outer hip, and our inner thigh. And continuing to breathe. So the breath is always in and out through the nose, the little constriction in the back of the throat. Called Ujjayi Pranayama. Inhale, we'll bring the leg back to center, and exhale, switch hands and take your right leg off to the left side and then turn to look over the right shoulder. So if you're using a strap, you'll want to switch hands with your strap as well. So you'll hold it in your left hand instead of your right hand. Little butterflies in the background again today. This is becoming one of my favorite spots, in case you hadn't noticed. We come back here a lot. Inhale the right leg up, and exhale, lift the head and shoulders, draw the knee in toward the nose, and then release it. And we'll hug the left knee in, hold on to the shin, and then extend it up. And you can hold again anywhere on that left leg. Use a strap or a towel, whatever is most comfortable for you, to get a good stretch in the hamstrings. And remember, it never matters how deep we take a stretch. As long as we feel the stretch, the blood and the circulation is moving into that place and the toxins are moving out. So we're just getting everything moving when we stretch. So it doesn't have to be a deep stretch as long as we feel it. It's also a very good idea to firm your quadricep muscles, your fronts of your thighs, as you stretch your hamstring muscles in the backs of your thighs. So if you pull up on your kneecap on the left leg, then you'll start to firm your quadricep muscle. And then your right toes point up to the ceiling with that ankle flexed, and that'll keep your right quadricep muscles engaged. The right hand to right thigh. Open the left leg to the left, and then turn to look over the right shoulder. As you breathe here, just allowing the left leg to move any amount. And then back to center. Bring the left leg through center. Switch hands with your strap, or switch your hand on the leg. And take the left leg off to the right side for a twist. Turning and looking over the right shoulder. I'm sorry, turning and looking over the left shoulder. Pardon me. Can take the leg to center. Exhale. Lift your head and shoulders. Bring the leg right in toward your nose. And release. And roll off to the right side with your left hand. Press yourself up. And then make your way onto your hands and knees. The wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Inhale, bring your chest forward, lift your chin and lift your tailbone. As you exhale, press away from the floor, rounding the back and pulling the belly in. Inhale again, coming forward, lift the chin and lift the tailbone up. Exhale, press away from the floor, chin toward chest. Inhale, bring the heart forward through the gates of your arms. And exhale, round your back, draw your belly in strongly. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades gently towards your waist. And exhale, press into the hands and feet surrounding the back. Walk your hands forward about a handprint, and then shift your hips off to the right, and then back toward the heels, shift them over to the left and bring them forward. So it's a big circle with the hips. So we're going to go circling the hips in this direction. Maybe one more time. If you want to stop any place and just stretch in a certain area, and then you're welcome to do that as well. And then just pause and go the other direction. And just take the hips off to the other side, making your circles. And then making your way back up to hands and knees. We'll step the right foot up by the right hand, right knee over the ankle, and pull your right hip back. And then start to sink forward as you continue to pull the right hip back, sending the left hip forward. And your hips and shoulders squaring up toward the front of your mat. Make sure your knee doesn't go past your ankle. And then we'll straighten the right leg on the inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Fold forward over your right leg and pull your right hip back as you do. So again, stretching out the hamstrings. And then we'll rebend the knee. Pulling the right hip back again, reach your arms up and lengthen through your torso. So get all the length that you can. Lean forward and take your left elbow across. Make a fist with your left hand and then press your right hand on top of it so that you help yourself to twist a little bit more. As you inhale, we'll get some length through your spine. And as you exhale, maybe twisting in a little bit more. But not cranking. We just want to twist with the breath. No need to force anything. We want to keep our twist from the waist up. Unwind. Bring your hands back to the mat, coming into table, and then left foot forward. Make sure your knee is over your ankle. So pull the left hip back and then sink your hips forward so you can get a good stretch in your right quadricep muscle and your hip flexor. Steady breathing. And then we'll take the hands down and straighten out the left leg. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold over the left leg and pull the left hip back as you fold forward. And then we'll rebend that knee. Reach your arms up. Spin the triceps forward. Get your length in the spine. Then lean forward, keeping the length. And then we'll hook the right arm across. Make a fist with your right hand and wrap it with the left. And then inhale to lengthen through the spine as you exhale, twisting from the waist up. Maybe twist a little bit more. Continue to keep your left knee over your ankle. And then unwind. And make your way back into child's pose. Taking the hips back to the heels. And then come back up onto the knees and tuck your toes under. Stretch back into down dog and take your feet as wide as your mat. And then take your hands as wide as your mat. And then see if you can stretch back a little bit more since you have some more space in your shoulders and space in your hamstrings. And reach the heels toward the floor, although they never have to touch. And we'll just stay here for a few breaths, lengthening the spine, lengthening the backs of your thighs. Try and keep pressing, pressing the weight up to the hips and then down through the heels. If this is too long of a hold for you, feel free to take your knees down and take a child's pose. But you made it through. So now we're in a regular down dog, and then take your knees down to the mat and take your hips back to the heels for child's pose. So just a reminder that child's pose is always an option. If you want a break, you take it. Always work at your own pace, regardless of what is happening on the video. You can always push pause on the video. And then looking forward. You're going to bring your hips forward, shift your shoulders forward, lower all the way to the floor, hugging the elbows in. And then inhale for a little cobra. Reach through the toes, spin the inner thighs up toward the ceiling, tailbone toward the heels. Draw the shoulder blades gently towards your waist. Continue breathing more into the chest. And then press yourself up and then back into downward facing dog. And again, just breathing here in your down dog. And then slowly make your way back into child's pose. Keeping the arms in front. Then back up onto the knees, shift forward, lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale for cobra. And then exhale, lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Again, stretching back, knees down, child's pose. Inhale, come up onto the knees, shift your shoulders forward, hug your elbows in, lower down all in one piece to the floor. Inhale, cobra, low or high. And as you exhale, back to the knees and tuck your toes and stretch all the way back into down dog. And breathing here. Back to the knees and child's pose. Oh no, not child's pose. This time is dolphin pose. Interlace your fingers, elbows under the shoulders, tuck the toes, and lift up and back for dolphin. So as you're in dolphin, press into your forearms and try and lift your shoulders up toward your waist. And press your thighs back, inner thighs spinning back, and the heels reaching toward the floor. It's a good shoulder stretch. And then let's take the knees down, back into child's pose. And then back up into dolphin. Fingers are interlaced. This time maybe walk your feet a little bit forward, continuing to press the weight up toward the hips and reach it down toward the heels, and also continuing to press onto the forearms and the elbows and lifting the shoulders up toward the waist and the shoulder blades as well. And draw the lower belly in and the low ribs, and then knees back down, child's pose. And then coming up, shift your hips over to one side, and we're going to sit up with your left shin on top of your right shin for double pigeon, or extend your right leg out in front of you. So double pigeon can be pretty intense, and if that doesn't work for you, right leg forward. We'll inhale and sit up nice and tall. And as you exhale, maybe you'll walk forward, maybe you won't. Maybe you can stay up sitting tall. I didn't walk forward in this pose for many, many years. I couldn't get my shins to line up on top of each other. So in this pose, your left ankle should be directly above your right knee, and your left knee should be directly above your right ankle. And that is not always the easiest thing to do. At least in my experience, it wasn't. And then walk yourself back up slowly. And we'll switch. So the right shin on top of the left, or extend the left leg out in front of you. And remember, shin on top of shin, so they're lined right up. Knee over ankle, ankle over knee. Sit up nice and tall in your inhale, and you may decide to stay right there, or you can exhale to extend forward. And then we'll walk ourselves up and extend the legs out. And take your right leg over the left with the knee bend. Take an inhale to lengthen, right hand behind, exhale, left arm across and twist. Every time you inhale, sit up tall. As you exhale, roll the right shoulder back, maybe twisting a little deeper. Inhale the head to center, exhale to unwind, straighten the right leg, bend the left. Left arm behind, right arm up, inhale, exhale to twist. And then back to center, unwind. And we'll make our way down onto our backs. Draw the knees into the chest. And then take the pinky toe sides of your feet, coming into happy baby. Try to bring your knees in toward the armpits, and then gently rock from side to side. Or if it feels better to stay in the middle, no rocking, that's fine too. And try to reach the tailbone toward the floor so you can lengthen out your spine. And then extend the legs out to the sides, holding on to the ankles or taking the feet, or holding on behind the thighs. And then draw the knees in again, and feet to the floor. Try to draw your shoulder blades down away from the ears, reach your tailbone towards your heels, and allow your feet to just flop right open. Take your arms away from the sides of your body with your palms faced up, and close your eyes and rest in Shavasana. And I will be back in just a few moments with our quote for today. So the other day, I had a quote from the book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And the Four Agreements, there are things that help us to create new experiences of freedom and happiness in our lives. So I talked about the first one the other day, and I'm going to talk about it once again. The first of the four agreements is be impeccable with your word. He says you can measure the impeccability of your word by your level of self-love. How much you love yourself and how you feel about yourself are directly proportionate to the quality and integrity of your word. When you are impeccable with your word, you feel good, you feel happy and at peace. Begin to make some movements in your fingers and your toes, and your hands and your feet. Stretch your arms overhead for a nice long stretch. And bend your knees, roll yourself off to your right side, pausing a moment to come back to the intention that you set and honoring your intention. Slowly make your way back up to seated. We'll bring our hands together in Anjali Mudra, palms touch. This is a mudra of reverence. Hands to our forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. And our hands to the heart center to remind us to have clear and loving intentions. And our hands to the mouth to remind us to have clear and loving communications. We'll send out all this wonderful energy to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the slower pace. Tomorrow we're going to work on our core and our abs. If you liked our class today, please push the like button and please subscribe and share these classes and comment. Let me know how it's going for you. I love your comments. And if you can afford a donation of any amount, there is a link below. The donations are really, really helpful for us to continue to try and send out yoga to as many people as we can possibly reach. That's our goal. I'd love to be able to send yoga out to millions and millions. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.